Hello, John.
Good evening.
So today we would like to introduce a boarding school in the UK, about 30 minutes from London. And it's a day and a boarding school. I would like to introduce you John Burnett, who represents the school today. And so half an hour later, we will have a student joining the webinar, or student is currently studying at Leighton Park School. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat button. You can send any questions you like, and we are here to answer. Okay? So I would suggest we start with the video on the school, and then I would like to ask you, John, to give us a presentation about the school, okay?
Perfect.
The first time that I had the chance to play England age grade rugby was, yeah, it was pretty special.
There is a problem with the video.
Okay. Well, we don't need to
Okay, so let's start with the presentation then, okay?
Okay.
And then I will try to fix it later. Okay. Yep. So here we go.
That slide doesn't say too much about the school, but if we can move on to the next one. So I just wanted to start with a very basic overview about the school to try and help families know if it's a good option for them. So Leighton Park School is based more or less halfway between London and Oxford. We're in one of the biggest towns in England called Reading, and Reading is 25 minutes on the train from London Paddington. The other really useful thing about Reading is it's 30 minutes in a taxi from Heathrow, so really convenient for flying from Budapest or another city into Heathrow, jumping in a taxi, and you're at the school. Really, really easy. We are an HMC school. HMC stands for Headmasters Conference, and it's a little bit like the Ivy League of British boarding schools, so the very best boarding schools in the country. We're a medium-sized school, not too big, not too small. We have 530 students in the school, and students can start from 11 years old, which we call year 7 in the English system, all the way through to 18 years old, upper 6th, the end of school in the English system. 75% of our students are English, but we have students from 39 different countries. In our boarding houses, it's pretty much 50-50. English and international, and a lot of students from Europe. And I think that international environment is really fun for a lot of our students because they can learn more about England, but they can also learn more about Spain, Kenya, Korea, all different countries. It's a really nice international, cosmopolitan environment. The average class size in the school is 16 students. And that gets smaller as students go through the school. And in the sixth form, the average is 7 students. So it's like an Oxford tutorial style where everybody's view is important in the classroom, and the lessons are like discussions to really help students develop the skills of presenting their academic ideas. The school has 2 options in the sixth form. We have the A-level option and the international baccalaureate option for students to choose from. So depending on whether you want the English system or the international system, we have both. The school is particularly well known. We try to be good at everything, but we're particularly well known for music and our STEAM academic approach. STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And its approach looking at problem solving using knowledge from different subjects, using our analytical skills, combining it with creativity to solve problems. And then the last area we're very well known for is business. So those are some of the reasons why families come to Leighton Park. Our location, even though we're in the middle of one of England's biggest towns, it feels like the countryside. We have 65 acres of beautiful parkland, 300-year-old oak trees, and boarding houses are all within the school. So for students, you wake up in the morning, you can walk to the restaurant for breakfast, then you walk to your first class. Everything is very easy and straightforward. It feels a little bit like a university campus because each academic department has its own building. There's the maths building, the music building, the design technology building. So I think that's really helpful for students. And there are lots of wonderful facilities for sports and for different things to really enrich the learning in the school. The school is very strong for academics. So we're the 14th best performing boarding school in England for students' academic progress. That's out of hundreds and hundreds of schools. We're the very best performing school in Berkshire, the county that we're in. And we were awarded this year the best co-educational school, so girls and boys, in the southeast of England. So in that whole area, we were awarded the best school. So hopefully that gives you an idea that we are a nice option, a very good school and a good option for young people. I've listed some examples here of university destinations that our students go on to. This is just from last year. So you can see a student went to Cambridge to do engineering, London School of Economics, UCL, University College London, King's College London. These are all some of the top universities in the country. And you can see there's a really nice range. There's a lot of engineering and medicine and psychology and those kind of subjects. But there's also law, architecture, politics. So we're not a school that only produces one type of student. We have really nice varied outcomes, but a lot of very impressive destinations for our students. There are different entry points. We have students that join us at 11 years old. We have students that join us at 14 years old for the GCSE program. We also have a 1-year GCSE program, that's the English system, for 15-year-olds. And then the sixth form, the last 2 years of school in England, students can join when they're 16 years old. So no matter what your children's age is, there's probably an entry point for them to consider to come to the school. So Leighton Park, it's a lovely school. It has great facilities and it achieves very good results. But this is not what we exist for. What we really want is to give our students the skills, the confidence to change the world, to make a difference in their countries, in their communities, in their families, to have the real determination to make an impact and make a difference. So one of the ways we do this is through our STEAM academic approach, which I talked about earlier, giving the students the skills to solve problems. This is partly about understanding analytical skills from the sciences and from mathematics, but it's also about really taking advantage of that creativity that we get from the arts, from drama, from music. And so a lot of our school students do go on to areas like engineering, architecture, product design, medicine, where you need to be creative as well as analytical. Last year, we won the national award, so the whole of the UK, for excellence in STEAM education. And as well as having these options in the classroom, we work with different industry partners in the Reading area. So we work with companies like Pfizer and BioNTech, who produce one of the vaccines for coronavirus, companies like Cisco and Intel. And those companies come to the school, they tell the students about a problem they're facing in their industry, and the students then work on these problems, they do research, they work in teams, and then they present their ideas back to those industry partners. you can see a quote from Rahini Bevan from Pfizer talking about how beneficial it is for them to work with schools like Leighton Park. There's some pictures just to get an idea of what some of that looks like. The picture of the girls in the blue t-shirts there, that's where they went to Porsche to look at how those racing cars are designed. And that's a project really to get girls and young women really inspired in different areas of engineering and design. So we think that this is very much a subject for girls and boys. The other area that we're very well known for is music. So 50% of our students study an instrument in the school. So it's normal to play an instrument here. You don't have to play an instrument, but we have 27 different music teachers. We can pretty much teach any musical instrument here. And we are a flagship Yamaha music education partner. So there are 3 of these in the world. There's one in Japan, there's one in America, and we are the only one in Europe. The nice thing about working with Yamaha is they make amazing instruments, but they're also really strong on music technology. And they also have professional musicians who come to the school to work with our students. So we have some students that are amazing at music, will probably go on to be professional musicians, but it is a very inclusive environment. So even for students that just want to try, just want to start out, it's very much an environment for them as well. Music also brings the whole community together. There's performances every week, and it's a really nice way for students to come and appreciate the talent and the quality that there is here. So here's some pictures. There we have house music where students compete against each other in music. We have about 30 different music clubs in the school for students to get involved with. We want our students, as I was saying before, to really make a difference, to change the world for the better. And one of the ways that we do that is by being an international baccalaureate world school. We think it's really important to understand different cultures, to support those who are less fortunate than ourselves. We're the only school in England that requires students to do a GCSE course in global perspectives to really understand and appreciate difference in the world. And last year we won the Independent School Association Award for local community engagement. So this is where we're supporting the community around us, and those are student-led projects where students are working with different communities. In terms of our boarding and pastoral care, we have 155 boarding students in the school. We have 3 different boarding houses. We have a specialist boarding house for younger students who are 11 or 12 years old. And then we have a girls' house, a senior girls' house, and a senior boys' house. And the really great thing about those boarding houses is that they have 5 members of staff that live in each boarding house. So there's always members of staff all around. They're there day or night, and they are teachers in the school. So they know everything about your child and how they're getting on. And they, whether you want to speak to somebody more similar to your age, more like a big sister, or whether you want to talk to the house mistress who's maybe more senior, there's a range of different people that you can talk to. In the school, like all independent schools in England, we have a tutor system. So the tutor is a teacher, and they are responsible for 11 students in the school. In most schools, it'll be something like 20 students that a tutor is responsible for. So that means much more individual support for your child to make sure that they are okay, they're progressing well, and to talk to the different teachers to make sure that everything in the school is working well. The other nice thing about our tutor system is that our students see their tutors 3 times every day. So in the morning for collect, which is like a mini assembly, and then in the afternoon as well. And because they see them so regularly, they can very quickly see if something is not right and make sure that we can put steps in place to make sure that students are succeeding. The school was founded as a Quaker school in 1890. Now the Quaker values are very important. So these are things like peace and equality. And so some of the benefits for students are that we have students that really support each other. I think in any school, you'll have the teachers that really support each other. I think what's special about Leighton Park is that the students really support each other as well. So here's some pictures of the boarding houses. You can see an individual room. You can see, so the older students doing the A-levels in year 12, year 13 have their own bedroom, their own bed, their own desk. The younger students will share, usually 2 students in a room. Each student has a desk. There's lots of different common rooms for them to spend time together, playing games, playing music, having a good time. Lots of nice outdoor space for them to relax as well. So it is a really lovely, homely environment, and our house staff are really amazing, I have to say, really lovely people. These are some resources that might be useful for you now. This is my last slide, so I will stop talking soon. But the one on the left, we have a virtual tour so that you can look around our school campus. You can go inside the buildings. You can watch some short videos to see what the school is like, what our facilities are like, to see if you think it would be a nice place for you. The other thing that we've been working on is lots of little individual boarding student videos. So I think we now have about 30 of these videos with all different students. So you can see a video of student from Czech Republic, from India, from England, from Italy, and you can see what their experience is like, to get an idea if you think that it would be a good place for you, and to get an idea of some of the people that are already at the school. So I hope that that will be some useful resources for you to find out a little bit more about the school. So Eva, that's me coming to the end of my presentation there. I hope that's been helpful.
Yes, very much indeed. Thank you. And I don't know if anyone has any questions. For now, I have one question. How does it work with the applications? So do you have, what requirements do you have to apply for the school?
Yes, a very important question. So the requirements depend on the age. You know, the younger students, we do need them to have good English, but of course the expectation becomes higher if the student is older. So as an example, for year 7, we would expect something like a 4.5 in IELTS. Coming in at the sixth form, we would expect something more like 5.5 or 6 in IELTS. Then students do an English test, they do a maths test, and they have an interview. So those are the 3 elements of our assessment. We also need a school report from the student's current school, and we will also ask for a confidential reference from the current school, where we'll ask questions about how the student has been progressing at the school, and ask the school if there's any information we need to know about to make sure that we can really support the student when they arrive here. So the first step is to complete an online application form. That's all listed on our website, and I'm sure, Eva, you can support families with that. It's a pretty straightforward form. The first step is that we ask for the school report and a copy of the passport. We will then review that, and then we will ask you to complete a second form where we will ask for some more details, and we will also ask you to pay an application fee to apply to the school, which is £100 for students in the EU and 175 for students outside the EU. So those are the steps. It's a pretty straightforward process. We can do all the interviews online. The tests can be done online, hopefully with support from you, Eva, or in the student's current school. That can also work.
Yeah, usually they can do it in the office. They come to the office and do it there. It's not a problem. Yeah. And when does the school start, the school year start? And what do the students do in the school breaks, for example?
Yes, okay. So the students start here in September. Mm-hmm. That's the beginning of the academic year. And essentially the terms are broken into 6-week chunks. So a student will do 6 weeks, and then they will have half term, which is 2 weeks, and then they will do 6 weeks, and then it's Christmas. So the school year then goes all the way through to the beginning of July, through to the summer holidays. Students, I think, coming from Hungary will, it's not too far to fly home during the holidays. So I think most students would probably want to fly home and see their families and friends during the holidays. It's so easy with Heathrow really nearby. If they want to stay in the UK, they are able to stay with their guardians. So in the UK, the government requires that all international students need to have a guardian.
Okay.
I have Conrad arriving.
Wonderful.
Hi, Conrad. How are you doing? So, Conrad, this is you.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, nice to see you. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just finished school.
You have
Can
a
you see us
nice,
both? Maybe I'll move the camera back.
Yeah.
okay, nice uniform.
Thank you. It's not uniform, it's just business school.
Oh, wow, okay.
Looking very smart.
Okay, so I would like to introduce Conrad. He started the school this September, and he's on the first year of the IB program, right? And I don't know if anyone has questions, they can send us with the chat, but I can also ask some questions, if you don't mind. So I would like to ask you, Conrad, now you are in the school for 1 month or already 1.5 months. And how do you feel? Was it easy to adjust to the school or?
Yeah, so before I came here, I was really scared of boarding, basically, because I never went to a boarding school before. But at the day I came here, I realized that I'm in a good place. So it was really easy to get in, to make friends. The teachers are really friendly. The housemaster is really good, or housemaster, who is the main person in the house, who basically the director of the house, I would say. So I'm really happy that I'm here, basically.
That's great to hear. Do you have a roommate in the school?
No, I'm in lower 6, so I have the privilege to live alone. So I don't have a roommate.
Okay, great. And so how is the student life? How do you feel yourself? What do you do at the weekends?
Okay, so before I came here, I thought I was going to be bored at the weekends because what can I do at a boarding school? But there are a bunch of programs. So, for example, this weekend I will go paintballing. Tonight it will be grill. So we will have a little cookout, or I don't even know how to say it. And there are multiple options to choose from. For example, I'm going Saturday to cinema trip, to James Bond, to the new movie.
Wow.
But I could go, I think, to Oxford this weekend or next weekend to a city trip. So
Great.
there are a lot of options to sign in for.
Wow, so you are never bored.
Yeah, I'm never bored. I'm actually always busy, so.
Good, that's good.
But not in a wrong way.
Yeah, good. So you enjoy it. And how about your subjects? What do you study in the school now? What subjects?
Okay, so I study IB because when I came here, I could choose between A levels and IB. IB is more international, so that's why I chose it basically. I study 6 subjects, 3 higher level, 3 standard level. The 3 higher levels are higher level math, economics, and English language B. Because I'm not a native speaker, that's why I chose it. And for standard level, biology, school supported self-taught language. So for me, it's Hungarian. Yes, and theater, so drama. These are my subjects.
Okay. Is it difficult, or how do you feel the subject? Do you enjoy studying, or is it completely different than the school system, for example, you studied before in Hungary?
So when I came here, at first couple lessons, it was a bit hard because of the language.
Yeah.
and there were a couple of words that I didn't understand, but I like catched up really quickly. So I'm really fine, and there's everyday prep time, so I can study enough for everything. So I'm good. It's not hard for me yet. And the difference between this system and the Hungarian one of the differences, because it's much more different. I think this system is a lot greater. Is that it's in Hungary, for example, there were exams every week, more times. But here there are exams from each subject in the end of every term. So I think it's a bit easier to practice for one big exam. And
yeah, I understand you. And how about the teachers? You like your teachers?
Compared to Hungary, I can't even tell how much better they are. So I've never been to UK system, but it's like such a big difference between teachers and how they teach. And for example, in every classroom there are smart boards, and it's they make the lessons more interesting. Okay. So these are the ones that I could mention.
Yeah, nice. That's nice to hear. And do you do any sports or activities?
Yes, of course. There are a bunch of options, so not endless, but so many options that it's even hard to choose from. So for clubs, I do 2 clubs. I do one is business management, because I'm really interested in economics and business, and I want to go to this path to uni. And I do football. And for sports, like in PE lesson, I do basketball, because for PE every term the sports changes. So I think this term there are 4 options: rugby, basketball, maybe like hockey, I don't know, and one other. So I chose basketball, and I do it 2 times a week, which are 2 times 2 hours. So it's really great. And football is a club, like business management. So I do it once a week in club terms with coaches. But besides that, we go with friends every day to football, because from my boarding house, a lot of guys like football, like me. So yeah.
Okay. And so your friends are from the boarding house or the school, and they are international friends? Which countries do you have the friends from, for example?
Okay, so I have, I think, a lot of friends. Basically, from the boarding house, I think every guy that I know every guy, and they're all really nice, and I consider almost all of them my friend. But I have a lot of really good friends from the boarding house. From the boarding house, they aren't that much from the UK. For example, my best friends are Polish, Kazakhstan, what's it in English? Latvian. Okay, then for example,
kinds of
Mexican. A lot of guys from UK. A lot of nationalities, really diverse. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. We have a question from a parent here, and she's asking if a student, I don't know, maybe we can ask John, if the students over 18 in their 11th grade, so let's see, for example, a student who is at grade 19 in Hungary can apply for the last year in the school.
So the last 2 years of school are a 2-year program. So whether you do the A-level or the IB, they're both 2-year programs. So the oldest age that we can consider for joining the school is 17.
Okay. So all the programs, so all these last 2 years, you cannot do 1 year experience. You have to make a 2-year diploma program.
It's a 2-year commitment.
Okay.
The year, if you're 15-year-olds can come for 1 year for our pre-6 program.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Good. So you don't have short-term programs, only academic programs in the school, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And how about summer school, summer camps?
No, we don't have our own summer camp. There is a company called Studio Cambridge that do a camp here at the school, but it's not part of our school.
Okay. Okay, I think we had lots of information from you both. Thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you very much, Konrad, for coming and sharing your experiences. It's very nice to see that you enjoy the school, and I wish you all the best for the future. So hereby I would like to say goodbye to you all, and if someone is interested in the school, I just encourage them to contact us, and we are happy to help with the application. Okay, have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.